So 7 years for the Pacific region out of 22 years. And you mentioned a lot of regions and countries, which is amazing. So it's great to have you because you have a very broad perspective on all those challenges through the bank in different regions. So maybe to start a discussion, what are the specifics about the Pacific region that you could compare? You mentioned Madagascar. I know the Pacific, our audience know it's islands. Okay, they're islands, but Madagascar is one as well. You mentioned as well a Latin American region. So how can you explain to us a bit the challenges that, I mean, they're facing the Pacific region for the topic of transport, but also in general with the World Bank?
Look, maybe starting from a kind of a general perspective, compared to other regions in the world, what's quite striking is that we're talking about much fewer people on a much bigger area. So the countries in the Pacific that's probably a bit less than 3 million people spread over an area which is many times the size of the US or India. Just as an example, Kiribati is spread over 3,000 kilometers from east to west. Wow. And all these countries are very isolated from the rest of the world, very remote, far from the main markets, the main population centers. Everything gets more complicated there because everything is more costly. You need to bring like food and pretty much everything to these islands. And when you work on these islands, you serve, again, a relatively small population, which means that in some countries like Tuvalu, where you have about 10,000 people, it's hard to kind of put together a team where you have an engineer and an economist and a financial management specialist and so on and so forth. So yeah, the main challenges I would say are related to scale and distance and remoteness and yeah, isolation basically.